生啦，班主任叫 Henry Chan， 東產。呢個好收電話。Welcome to my class.
Today we're going to tell you the storyline of a movie called Big Brother, from the year 2018. This movie tells us about the story of an ex-Marine who shifted his career and became a teacher, and with his experiences as a Marine, of course he'd use a lot of unique ways to teach. Without further ado, let's get straight to the video. But before we start, please support our channel by subscribing, and click the bell icon for future notifications. Now, let's start. The movie begins in Takshi Secondary School, where an ex-Marine named Henry Chen was seen just applied himself as a teacher there. But he was rejected at first, because the headmaster thought that he wasn't qualified enough to become a teacher. Until Chen gave him a recommendation letter, which changed the headmaster's decision, and accepted him right away, and gave him a position as a homeroom teacher, for a class with the mischievous students. Finally, Mr. Chen's first day has come. But when he got into his classroom, he was greeted by ignorance from the mischievous students there, who were busy with themselves, playing games, playing guitar, even some of them were cooking in the class. Mr. Chen tried to grab their attention, but then they laughed instead, when he wrote his name and his phone number on the chalkboard. Even the students prank called him, and told him that it was time to go home. Until he shot the fire sprinkler there, with a piece of chalk, and finally managed to grab the students' attention.
Welcome to my class!
Soon after break time, Chen's student named Jack, with some of his friends hid in the sports storage, smoking. Where suddenly, some from the basketball club showed up, mocked them for being poor and dirty, and kicked them out. They were irritated by the mockery, and had planned a revenge on them at the basketball court, which were witnessed by a teacher named Miss Lee Young. Miss Lee Young then punished them by writing a 10-page apology letter. But then, these brats pranked Miss Lee Young instead. The next day, the school got a visit by the local education department. They were there for an inspection, because of the decreased interest from the new students, due to the school's bad reputation. And the education department was thinking of closing the school for good. On the other hand, when Mr. Chen was about to get to his class, the students apparently had prepared a greeting just for him. But then, with his incredible reflexes, he managed to dodge the prank, and hit the water bowl away. Mr. Chen then approached Jack, and asked him for the cigarettes pack he always had in his pocket. He then asked one of his students named Gordon, to tell him the 3 elements contained in a cigarette. Gordon managed to answer his question correctly, and due to that, Mr. Chen allowed him to go home early. The class then went rambunctious, and the students demanded questions as well. Mr. Chen then put 1 cigarette on each of the students' desks, and was about to explain the dangers of smoking for health. But then he thought that it would bore them if he directly explained it. So, he directed the conversation to the smoker students, about the tar development in humans' lungs. With his cool and relaxed way of explaining, he managed to grab the students' attention to his lesson. And soon after, he asked them for the cigarettes he put on their desks. At the break time in the canteen, the basketball team decided to attack Jack, in return for what he did to them. And then a fight occurred between them. But unfortunately, the fight ended with Jack, and 4 of his friends being expelled from the school. Jack was disappointed at the headmaster's decision to expel them, but left the basketball team with no punishment at all. After appealing to the headmaster, Mr. Chen managed to get the letter of relief for the 5 students. But then Jack decided to reject the given chance, due to his great disappointment to the headmaster. Mr. Chen then searched about the 5 students' backgrounds. Starting with Gordon, with his dream to become a musician. Who was a son of immigrant parents from Pakistan, who always received discrimination for his skin color. And then the tomboy girl named Gladys, who felt neglected by her father, who always expected a son, more so when she eventually got a little brother her father loved more. And then there were Bruce and Chris Guan, twin brothers who were left by their mother for a rich guy, which turns their father into an alcoholic, and forced Bruce to work for his family, while Chris was addicted to games as a distraction from his reality. And then Chen was left with no info about Jack's background. And it turns out that Jack was working as a waiter in a local restaurant every night. One day, the restaurant was visited by Mr. Luo, a businessman and an MMA arena's owner in Hong Kong. There he was having a discussion about the closing issue of the Tak Chi Secondary School, and was about to take it as an opportunity for him to build a business. When Mr. Luo was off guard, Jack turns out stealing his gold lighter. But then he was caught, which then Mr. Luo's guards beat him to the ground. Until Mr. Luo found Jack's student ID card. Mr. Luo then gave him some money, and offered him a job. On the other hand, Mr. Chen visited Gordon's house. When Gordon was being chased for stealing a concert ticket, Mr. Chen then managed to bring the tension down, and take Gordon to a bridge side, to motivate him about his dream, and also taught him how to be a performer. On the other hand, the Guan twins were staying at home, when their father just got home that night. He then was about to grab a beer in the fridge, but they had run out. He then asked any of his sons to buy some at the local store, but they refused, which angered him, and made him threaten to kick them out of the house. The next day, Mr. Chen visited their house and talked about the harm he had caused to his own family, after being an alcoholic, and suggested him to stop, in hope to be able to reunite their family. Meanwhile, Gladys was given makeup tools by her father, and asked her to dress up like a girl should be. But she was fed up, and sneaked out of the house instead with her father's car. But shortly after, she was stopped by Mr. Chen, who told her to stop and forbade her to drive, since she was still underage. Mr. Chen then took her to a go-kart circuit, which without her knowing, he also invited her father there, and left them for a race. But Gladys's go-kart then was hit by a truck, but fortunately, Gladys still managed to dodge the truck. But then her father felt guilty, and cried like a waterfall, thinking that he had lost his daughter. And from there she learned how precious she really was for her father. The next day, Mr. Chen took his students, including the Guan twins, on a study tour to a rehabilitation facility. There they were awaited by an alcohol addict who was in rehabilitation. And it turns out that the person was Guan twins' father. There he told them the reason for him being an alcoholic, the sad story of his lowest, which made him forget his responsibility as a father. He regrets everything, and apologized to his sons. Meanwhile, Jack finally accepted Mr. Luo's job offer, and Mr. Luo told him to put a purgative in one of the fighters' drinks. He was hesitant for a moment, but because of the promised big pay, he finally accepted the order. The next day, Mr. Chen visited Jack's house, where it turns out that Jack lived with his grandmother, because he had lost his parents since he was little. Even though his grandma didn't know about Jack's life, she believed that he was a really good boy. And it turns out that the day before, Jack had told her that he was going to have a job at a boxing arena. It bothers Mr. Chen. Furthermore, when he found a purgative bottle near an MMA poster above Jack's bed. At night, Jack finally did his task, but unfortunately, he was spotted by a security guard, beaten down to the ground again, and was locked inside a locker. Not long after, Mr. Chen came to look for him.
Gentlemen, sorry for interrupting.
He asked the fighters about Jack's whereabouts. With their grim stare, they then asked Mr. Chen to leave. But then, right when he was about to leave the place, Jack screamed for help from inside the locker he was in. which was then followed by Mr. Chen's attack on the fighters. He was so strong, even the strongest fighter who was about to get on the arena that day, managed to be defeated by Mr. Chen. Soon after, Jack tried to reveal to the police officers about Mr. Luo, but then, Mr. Luo managed to avoid his detention. After being treated, Mr. Chen then accompanied Jack back home. On their way, they saw Jack's grandma working really hard. It made him realize, and was determined to continue his study, to give his grandma a better old day. Meanwhile, the fighting incident in the arena went viral on the news, and made the students respect Mr. Chen even more. And it turns out that Mr. Chen was also a student from Takshi Secondary School. And he was a bad one, even worse than his students. He was so bad that he was expelled, and transferred to the U.S. Marine Training Center in America. And he became one of the U.S. Marines, and was thinking that through war, he could help to bring peace to the world. But later that year he realized that he was wrong. He then tried to search for the real meaning of peace, by traveling around the world by himself. One day he saw an eagle, and learned something from it. No matter how far an eagle could fly, it would eventually came back to where it belongs, to raise their new generations. He then decided to get back to Hong Kong and met his former headmaster, the one man who gave him the recommendation letter, to become a teacher at Takshi Secondary School. Ever since he became an idol of the students were so enthusiastic for the university entrance exam that was about to come. But not with Bruce, who turns out having an attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which made him hard to concentrate, and made him fail his pre-exam test. Mr. Chen then approached and gave him motivation. But unfortunately, his depression has overwhelmed him. Even made him do a suicide attempt. But fortunately, he managed to survive. But then his incident was reported by the media, with too much extra spies. A lot of the parents protested to the school, and wanted their children to be transferred from the school. As Bruce's homeroom teacher, Mr. Chen was the one to blame by the education department. His eligibility and his teaching style were being questioned. Until eventually, the education department decided to take his teaching license off of him.
You can do it.
Since then, Takshi Secondary School's students have been determined to study even harder than before, as proof to the education department that they have made a wrong call when they fired Mr. Chen. Even better if they managed to increase their scores, which might cancel Takshi Secondary School closing that was about to be done by the education department. This news then was heard by Mr. Luo, who might fail on building his business if Takshi Secondary School closing was cancelled. On the exam day, the students received a message from Mr. Chen for a gathering to meet him. But then it turns out that it was only Mr. Luo's trick, so that they couldn't attend the exam. But unexpectedly, Mr. Chen also came to the school, out of bad feelings, and became their savior. When he fought Mr. Luo, it was revealed that he was Mr. Chen's classmate, whose hand he had injured in a fight, long ago. Thus, buried little Luo's dream of becoming a pianist. And it turns out that the incident has bothered Mr. Chen ever since. And he felt that he owed Luo a huge apology. As a punishment for himself, he then stabbed his thigh with no hesitation, and apologized to Mr. Luo. On the other hand, all of Takshi Secondary School students managed to arrive at the exam hall on time. And eventually, their effort paid off, when they all managed to pass the test. And the education department cancelled the school closing. They then also gave Mr. Chen his teaching license back. Bruce was getting better, and promised his father to do the exam the next year. Meanwhile, Mr. Luo finally revisited his old dream, and played the piano again. And the movie ends. What do you think of this movie? Drop your thoughts on the comments section below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for future recaps notifications. If you have any movie you want us to recap, please do tell us in the comment as well. And until next time.